Alright, welcome back, and finally, it is time to blow up some ships. Now today we will be blowing up some big ships, and I would say this week has been rather odd when it comes to what we have found in LowSec, because, I mean, you will see, I'm not going to spoil anything. Now, I have a question, where is my ship? What am I looking at here? I logged in, and I'm presented with... Oh, there it is, okay. Okay, there it is. It's just my internet saying, I don't know what my internet is saying, but my internet, it's not that good lately. In any case, I'll be flying the Enforcer, and I believe later on in the video I'll also be flying the Pacifier, but it will be a project ship for me, primarily because I still, to this very day, have absolutely no idea what I like on this thing. Now, I tried to go full DPS, you know, well, actually what I have right now is somewhat of a DPS build, long range kite DPS that I'm going to be using today, but I tried full DPS, I didn't like it. I tried tank, I didn't like it. I can always find something that I complain about this ship, and it's funny because even though I'm flying it, I'm not quite happy with what I am using on this thing. So this thing is always kind of in the process of being changed, I guess. I don't know what kind of it I'll come up with next time, but I do want to have one Enforcer that's going to be DPS and the other Enforcer that's going to be full tank. I have an idea to attempt dual large armor repairs on this thing, but more on that in a different video when I actually try to assemble the Enforcer. But our first targets, now we have a Domi Navy right outside of a wormhole. I have no idea what they were doing there. Maybe crawled out of the wormhole, maybe not. And there was an Abaddon bomber. Now my friend will try to catch the Abaddon, I will try to catch the Dominix, because, you know, we are a little bit greedy and we want both, you know, even though it would be smart to just focus one ship. Yeah, actually we eat both, you know, we are hungry for some battleships. So I went and I will engage the Domi. Let me tell you, I don't like to engage Domi navies, especially with a cruiser, because if that thing wakes up, I'm in trouble, because I think we all know how much DPS a Domi Navy can have. I mean, I fly that thing and I'm able to one-shot Navy battleships with it without much of a problem. So what's a cruiser going to do if the Domi loads bombard, right? Perfect. My friend caught the Abaddon, lovely, and I caught the Domi Navy. Well, fingers crossed that these ships don't wake up, and oh my god, this thing has the... I think that's a Silver Waltz nanocore or something like that, which is a... I think it's classified as a one-click escape nanocore. I forgot really the stats on that thing. I know one of these nanocores has some effect to nullify webs or something like that. I forgot if Silver Waltz does that. I think it does something like that. Maybe not, maybe yes, I have no idea. In any case, the Domi Navy is slowly losing its shield. I think this Dominix is an armor tank. I mean, usually a Dominix is an armor tank. I fly mine as an armor tank, although I have technically no tank, but I use the damage control on armor because it's like a land ship. They should have some decent armor volume at least. Well, nearing the end of the shield, my friend blew up the shields on the Abaddon. Obviously the Abaddon will have a lot more armor resistance, and since it's an Abaddon bomber, we already kind of expect that thing to be tanky. So it's kind of... both of us are kind of trying to rush to blow up one of these ships as quick as possible, but the Abaddon bomber especially is tanked. I mean, it has resistance to armor and probably built for tanking as well, so the Domi will probably die faster than the Abaddon. I kinda wish that I had more DPS, and this is pretty much the moment where I decided to kind of separate my ships into two. If I had torpedoes, if I had the torpedo enforcer, I would be doing a lot more damage to the Dominics. The reason why I went with a kite build is because when I flew the torpedo build, I was pretty much always way too far off from the enemy ship. So I took a kite build so that I'm able to actually hit something. Now it's actually the other way around. Now I could actually go close, but I don't have the build for that, so that kind of sucks. But oh no, one of them woke up. This is where the fun begins. So, actually, the dummy did not wake up. It's the Abaddon that woke up. Alright, that's good. The chunkier ship woke up. It's not a big problem. It's actually the better outcome because we can blow up the Dominics. We can't blow up an Abaddon bomber that decides to repair. There's no way. Especially once the Citadel repair module starts to kick in. There is no way that a bomber and an enforcer can break the tank of an Abaddon bomber. And that's impossible, especially if it's properly tanked. Well, that means we will just go and finish off the Domi Navy. The Dominix is losing armor. It's at about, I don't know, 45% armor or something. It definitely feels armor tanked. We will see at the build later on, that's for sure. I mean, if we destroy the Dominix, we will take a look at the build, obviously. And now, with the two of us shooting at the armor, the Dominix will start to go down faster. And now, some of the damage is actually going through the armor into the hull. We just have to pray that that thing doesn't wake up, because let me tell you, I definitely do not want to eat a full bombard from a Domi Navy. Even though I have a damage control, these things slap. I know because I fly one, and I'm able to delete a Navy battleship in a single bombard cycle. There we go, Domi Navy blown up. Beautiful. That's one ship. Now, unfortunately, if the Abaddon was sleeping, we would actually, you know what, we might go to the Abaddon. 10.69 billion, that's an armor tank, but a passive armor tank, and it looks like a PvP build, so yeah, that's a good catch. That's definitely a good catch, and looted. So, next thing would be, oh, that was close. That was very close. The Domi Navy also woke up, but let's see where the Abaddon is. Still there. Still close, still there. 10,000 kilometers from the wormhole. Yeah, they were ready to go into wormholes. Maybe they live in the wormhole space, I don't know. But they definitely went and attempted to go through the wormhole. So let's see if we will engage the Abaddon. I mean, we will try. Why not? Let's have some fun, I guess. Let's have some good old fun. I actually, now, before I started to record the video, in the current runs that we've done, I actually changed the build on this ship a little bit. And now I'm actually built for E-War, same fit, but now I have some E-War on this ship. Two dual tracking disruptors, which work really well with some general units. So, if I had that built now, things would probably be a little bit different when I think about it, because the Abaddon, obviously, I think the Citadel module does give you extra tracking. So if I significantly lower the range of the pulse lasers on that ship, I would be able to avoid taking any damage. I'll have to double check the stats of the Citadel module. Yeah, they are definitely doing some damage, and that's at 62 kilometers. I kind of expected that, honestly. I expected that ship to have
Warp
a
drive
lot of
active.
range and, I mean, a lot of tracking, since it's an Abaddon bomber. They do get a bonus on tracking, and especially with the Citadel module, they will be tracking. So pretty much the moment when I decide, you know what, I'll just go and fit some Evor on this thing. Maybe I will extend the range. I have a lot of different options that I can go with on this ship, including going with integrations on missiles with range, flight time range, and overall rate of fire. Because I would love to get a lot more range on this thing. If I could get a 100-kilometer range with my missiles, that would be perfect. Because I would be able to properly kite. And that's maybe the thing that I'm going to do next. A proper long-range kite build on the Enforcer. I mean, I do have modules to play around with. I could do that easily. I do have general units that can help me with that, so... And obviously, one thing I forgot to mention, this thing is slow. The Enforcer is absolutely on the slower side. This thing is really slow, even with a micro warp, one of the slower faction cruisers in the game. Second slowest after the Stratius. The Stratius takes the cake of being the slowest. Now the idea here was to, since apparently the Abaddon is unable to track the bomber, so the only damage that the bomber is taking is coming from the drones. So the goal here would be destroy the drones and then we should be good to go. But unfortunately, this is not a good position for me, especially with this ship. If only I had... That's actually the next thing I'm going to do when I log in. I'm actually going to go with integrations and slap some extra range and extra rate of fire, and I will change the low slots as well. Basically, I want to... Basically, what I want is at least 100-kilometer range on the Enforce with missiles, with the long-range missiles. If I could get that, that would work really well, and that would be perfect.
Attack.
88 kilometers, and they are unable to... Okay, yeah, definitely range is the way to go, I believe. That's the next project, I guess. Or maybe even a third Enforcer that will be built for range, I don't know. I have so many different ideas, but limited amount of ISK.
We're under attack. We're under attack.
Now they got the criminal timer, although I don't really think that the Abaddon will actually attempt to warp off, because they don't really need to. Not much. A cruiser and a bomber. Yeah, they hit at 75. Okay, damage control.
Warp
up.
drive active.
And goodbye. Oh well, I mean, not much that we could do in this case against that particular ship. If it were something different, if it were something with no tank and with less tracking, probably would be able to do something more, but unfortunately against that particular ship, yeah, the Abaddon bomber is just... The Abaddon bomber, a very, very thick ship with very thick armor. Or literally in this case, very thick armor. But we caught the Dominavy, so that's good. I'm not going to complain, the Dominavy is enough. The Dominavy is more than enough, actually.
Warp drive active.
Not going to complain, they're still here and they still have the criminal timer. I mean, if they go and if they go and decide to actually warp to a gate, they're going to get gate gunned and we will loot the wreck. But yeah, I mean, it's time to move on. That was fun though. That was definitely fun. Okay, well, it's... I think they have warped to the wormhole. I think they warped to the wormhole.
Warp drive active.
Actually, was that a wormhole or a hidden rift? I believe it was a wormhole. Yeah, this is something there, this is something else. Okay, the planet one, alright, okay. Well, not much we can do now against Nabon. Well, maybe, you know, if I had more range it would be different. Or if I had tracking disruptors or something like that. I mean, there's just, you know, you can't really be prepared for all the things at the same time. You can't really have all the counters against all the ships. You will have something that you will not be prepared for, and that's fine. That was fun nonetheless, though. It was a pretty fun experience. Next. Now, this is probably the funniest chase that we've ever had so far. We have been following a Marshal for, I think, like 5 or 6 systems, and it just happened so randomly. Like we saw a Marshal and we decided, you know what, let's just track it for a little bit. Let's see where the Marshal goes. And we tracked the Marshal, tracked, and eventually, guess what? The Marshal logged out in space. And there it is. I couldn't believe my eyes when I actually saw the ship just warping off, and we have been catching ships logging off for a very long time now. We're actually quite good at that. We became very good at catching logged off ships. So catching a Marshal is definitely something that wasn't on my menu today, that's for sure. Out of all ships that I expected to see log out, I did not expect a Marshal to do that. But here we are, blasting a Marshal, and this thing seems to be quite hanky. The shield isn't really taking a lot of damage. Well, I mean, it's not taking a lot. We are doing some decent damage to it. I believe this Marshal is a shield tank based on how much damage we're doing to it. You know, when we were experiencing this for the first time, I feel like it feels like the ship was tankier, and that's probably because of the adrenaline pumping. Because if that thing wakes up, we are in trouble. Because it does appear like this Marshal is on the tanky side of things. It does appear to be on the tankier side of things, but we are now into armor and it has the new nanocore as well. Well, that nanocore does look good. Now we are into armor and I believe it will... Yeah, we are doing a little bit more damage now on the armor on the Marshal. It seems like this ship does have a shield tank. It's a question how good the shield tank actually is, because we are engaging the ship without any adaptives on, and the real question is how rigged is that thing? We will find out very soon. Reaching hull, actually no, we are already reaching hull. Some good heavy damage on the hull. Yeah, that's a lot of damage on the hull. Okay, perfect. And Marshal destroyed. Beautiful. Let's take a look at the wreck. Let's see what's inside. Let's see what is inside. That's one very expensive battleship, that's for sure. The Marshal is one of the more expensive battleships. Costs as much as a Rorqual, I believe, in IP. Or something like that, like over 100 billion ISK. That thing is very expensive. Okay, looted, and let's take a look. That's a destroyed ship. That player is in for a surprise when they log in. Okay, let's take some screenshots. Not every day that you see a Marshal like that log in space. Yeah, this is going to be the thumbnail, I believe. This looks like a thumbnail right there. Let's see, 121 billion, not bad. Torpedoes plus rapid missiles. I was never a fan of mixed weapon. Oh, that's a heavily shield tanked armor shield tanked ship, and integrated as well. That's a lot of integrations, and that's a lot of webs. That's a lot of webs. That's interesting. Yeah, we wouldn't be able to break the tank on that thing. Even one shield booster is actually more than enough to repair a lot. Next, let's go to the next target. We have a Macarial waiting. We are waiting for the command. Waiting for the X to appear in chat. When it appears, that's when we're going in, and that's when we are engaging the target. Well, I mean, we're waiting for tackle, that is. Technically, I could tackle, I just have to change my build. And if I decide to be tackle and to scan with this thing, I would have to probably use an active armor tank build. I believe it will actually work really well on this on this ship. Although I would have to. It's actually not that difficult to make the ship capacitor stable. Maybe even if I decide to go with dual medium armor repairs, I could get some very ridiculous armor repair. I'll have to really sit and think about what I want to actually do with this ship, because I don't want to mess it up. I want to make this thing properly. So in order to do that, I will have to actually be smart about what I'm doing with the build. It will be expensive, that's for sure, but I think it will be definitely worth it. On the Enforcer, these ships can be ridiculously tanky, and I really do like to fly very tanky ships. But we will see. I mean, maybe I'll just stay with this current build, with the current ship. Maybe just tweak it a little bit, give it more range. We will see. There is a lot of other things that I can do with it. That's what I'm saying. I'm never happy with the build on the ship. Like, I've had this thing for months now, and I was never happy with any build that I had with it. I always could find to complain about something on the ship, always, and that's pretty funny, because usually I'm able to come up with something decent when it comes to build. But with this thing, every time I try to make it, I always complain about something in one way or the other. So yeah, that's just my experience with the Enforcer so far. Okay, let's see what's going to happen here. There is the I'm way too far off. Well, that's unfortunate. Yeah, that's a very unfortunate warp in my case. I warped 100 because I thought I could double warp, but it seems like I'm short 4 kilometers from doing that. I should have just went 0. Oh well, it doesn't matter. The Macarial is still in shields, but as we all know, Macarials don't really have a lot of tank. They're very paper. They're paper ships, so. And we have been scanned. Isn't that just lovely? Someone else is about to pop in here. I think there was a succubus around that attempted to scare off the Macarial, but didn't work. Oh well, yeah, I'm too far away. I didn't open fire because I didn't want to get criminal time with no damage, but the Macarial has been destroyed. Oh well, it's still a good catch. And well, with that being said, hope you guys enjoyed. That would be it for today. 3.9 billion ISK. Seems like this Macari also lacked some modules. That's pretty funny. But with that being said, that would be it for this little run today. There will be hopefully another video coming up tomorrow or the other day, because I still have a lot of other footage from roaming around that is going to be pretty interesting to compile. But with that being said, I hope you guys enjoyed. If you would like to support me, feel free to like and subscribe. And with that being said, stay safe, fly safe, and as always, I'll see you next time.